And the call is to the member for Holt.
Thanks, Deputy Speaker. I hadn't been listed, nor had I intended to speak on this particular motion, but I commend the member for his motion, the member for Macarthur, and in particular, the reason why I'm speaking, Deputy Speaker, is effectively because of the events that occurred in my electorate on Tuesday, the 24th of September, when we almost lost two police officers, an AFP officer and a VicPol officer. And for me, it absolutely drove home, in a very stark, brutal way, the difficulties that our fine men and women of the police force confront. The event that I'm referring to, Deputy Speaker, was of course the stabbing of two police officers on the evening of the 24th of September, and obviously the death of the young man who was involved. And it's not for me to make comments about what actually occurred there that evening, because that's subject of a coronial inquest and obviously an internal review. But I did want to say this in terms of the very, very fine men and women of the Endeavour Hills Police Force, that under incredible circumstances, in unprecedented circumstances, in a local suburban police station, a police station that was relatively busy, but it's not a 24-hour police station, two young officers almost lost their lives in discharging their duties, in the course of their duties. What occurred to me, Deputy Speaker, is this, that I often go to police functions. I go to police stations. I have three police stations that service my area: the Endeavour Hills Police Station, the Narre Warren Police Station and the Cranbourne Police Station. You meet with the young men and women, you meet with the senior sergeants, you meet with the force commanders, and they will detail to you, as I have had detailed to me, the circumstances which they find themselves. Often it will be attending an incident with domestic violence where one of the officers gets injured as a consequence of he or she trying to intervene to protect invariably the woman that's being assaulted by the bloke, or the other way around. We often, when we see these people driving around in our electorates and walking the streets, don't appreciate the sacrifices that they make to keep our community safe. And so I guess I wanted to do, on behalf of my community, to thank them on this occasion, because we almost saw in the horrible events of the 24th of September, something that occurred that resulted in the loss of two lives of the young police officers. It was my honour, Deputy Speaker, to go down to that station on two occasions, on that Friday after the event, and incidentally and interestingly on the 29th of September. In fact, one of the senior sergeants had to actually go to the National Police Remembrance Day service. And I was fortunate to meet with a lot of the young officers and even some of the cadets that were there. And I'm hoping that they see this speech at some stage, because I wanted to say this thing to them: you did well. You did very well. You did brilliantly. To contain a scene that was described to me under the circumstances was a great testament to the skill and the resolve of the officers involved. The scene that was described to me was an horrific scene, a harrowing scene, a horrible scene. But those young men and women rose to an incredible situation, a terrible situation, and we should be very, very proud of what they do. And I really do commend the member for Macarthur for raising this particular issue, but I wanted to say to those young men and women and all of the officers that service my area that I will remember you. This is not a situation where I'm just going to walk into your police station and talk to you. I will be there for you, because clearly to me, in meeting with those very, very brave young men and women that attended that scene, there was significant trauma there. Trauma for the officers. And it's a lot of what we don't talk about, the trauma that they experience on a day-in, day-out basis, that we as a community in a lot of ways take for granted. We expect them to put their bodies and their lives on the line, and they do, to keep us safe. But we should, and that's just why I really commend the member for this motion. I wanted to say on behalf of my community, thank you. Thank you for what you do. Thank you for putting your lives at risk. And we know what the costs are to their relationships, to their personal relationships, to their family relationships, to their own health and well-being. But again, coming back to the point that hit me most viscerally, these were young men and women that were experiencing this. Congratulations to them. Congratulations, and also to the two young officers involved. I won't forget you. I'll keep you in my thoughts and prayers, and thank you for the work that you do for our community.
Thank you, Member.